Hey there, and welcome to the Self Care Challenge. This has been an amazing 4-week program that has designed to help you put yourself first, because when we put ourselves first and we take care of our self care needs, it is not selfish and we can be so much to others. So, all right, I am Kim Kostek. I am a professional organizer and certified coach, and I help people move from chaos to loving their life, especially after a major life event or a medical diagnosis. So, in week 4 of the Self Care Challenge, we are discussing taking action and setting boundaries. Actually, this is really an actionable week that is meant to carry you on, like kind of wrap it all together and move forward. So this is for you this week. This challenge is really for you if you notice patterns of bearing grudges, holding on to the past, or resisting change. So everything that we are talking about in the self-care challenge, it's different. I mean, if you realized in the initial self-care quiz and the review, or as you've been doing these exercises, that you have a lot to work on, then change can be hard and it can be scary. So before we start, I have a story that I want to tell you. It's a parable. Just so tried and true. So there are 2 monks, and they are walking back to their monastery after heavy rains, and they approach a swollen river. And at this swollen river, there is a beautiful woman wearing a silk kimono, and she is just so distressed. She is so sad and so worried because she cannot cross the river alone. So of the 2 monks, the older one picks her up and, carries her over across the river and puts her back down to safety, of which she was incredibly grateful. And the 2 monks carried on. Their trip lasted about 5 more hours, and when they arrive at their destination, the younger monk is just fuming and has been fuming this whole time, these 5 hours. And he finally just snaps and he asks the older monk, like, why did you do it? Like, why did you risk so much? You know that we are not supposed to touch a woman, and you picked her up. And the older monk looks at him and says, I set her down 5 hours ago, and you are still carrying her with you. You've been carrying her with you this whole time. I love this story because it really kind of puts at us, like, what are we still holding on to? And chances are, whatever it is that we're holding on to, it's internal to us, and whomever may have been affected or may have been a part of it, they've probably moved on. And okay, so when you think about it, like, people often hang on to things, and it can cloud their judgment, it can cloud their minds, and it can drain them of energy. And we already discussed energy zappers, so you might want to go back and take a look at that, and the things that were zapping your energy, or the things that you have been holding on to that have prevented you from moving forward. Okay. This exercise, it will also dive in deep and explores the why you may be holding on to things and the benefits of not letting go. Change is incredibly scary. And when we are faced with change, sometimes it is just more comfortable to stay where we are in something. So when we're looking at this exercise and we're approaching change, we need to think about, what are the benefits of holding on to each item? There has to be something that we're gaining from it, even if it's comfort of not exploring the unknown. So there is what we call a secondary gain, and it's what you gain by staying exactly where you are. I work a lot with people in their homes, clearing clutter. And it's, what do they have to gain by living in this chaos? And that is just because it's familiar. So sometimes that's just what it is. It's a familiarity that we are afraid to move into. These changes. It's in our comfort, and change. Getting out of your comfort zone is required for change. So, and the concept of forgiveness, whether it's yourself or others, is something that really this exercise dives deep into. So, you know, with the younger monk in the story, or like the younger monk in the story, we have a tendency to hold on to um, anger and hurt, and then we can even feel guilty about it. And when it clouds our mind and prevents us from fully enjoying our life, we really don't understand. But the irony is that whatever it is that you're holding on to, it's probably bothering you way more than it's bothering anybody else, like I stated before. So letting go of anything usually involves some form of forgiveness, or acceptance, whether it's within ourselves, or accepting and forgiving somebody else, even if they're not sorry. That's a tough one. And or it could be even a situation, accepting a situation, or even an unknown third party. So when you let go of something, so this exercise is really all about letting go. And when you let go of something, it does not condone the behavior of somebody else. It does not say that you agree. And just even in validation, it doesn't necessarily mean that you agree with it, but it's kind of lightening our load when it comes to the situation. Okay. When we let go of whatever it is that is bothering us, we're kind of giving ourselves permission to just like set ourselves free. Okay. And then we get to reclaim that energy for ourselves. So, and something else that I want you to know is you don't have to know how to let go. You just need to be willing to. All right. And you can't change the past. You can't change what happened. You can definitely learn from it and how you feel going forwards. So remember that whatever you find hardest to let go of, it is probably what you need to let go of the most. All right. So, and if you are struggling with identifying, a benefit, you need to ask yourself, what do I gain by keeping a hold of this? Okay. And like really be honest with yourself. Perhaps holding on to resentments and anger, by holding on to resentments and anger, and hurt, then you don't need to accept your part of the situation. And, perhaps it stops you from like feeling how hurt you really were. Okay. And maybe you get to stay in the right, like, I was right on this, or avoid dealing with someone. Those are potential benefits. And if you need to let go of something you've done, then you need to ask yourself, like, what do I need to do that will allow me to let go of this? Perhaps you need to make notes in a journal of what you've learned, or perhaps you need to make some type of amends or apologize, or find, a meaningful way to make it up to yourself or someone else. Again, we can't change the past, but we can make amends and learn from it. Okay. So that concludes pretty much week 4 of the self-care challenge. Letting go and moving forward is a really tough one. And that is the reason why I was just like, saying no was so tough. And that was just the big exercise for the week. That's the reason why there's only really one here, but there is some bonus content that I would like to share with you. These are like some of my favorite tools. I mean, I guess really all of my tools are favorite tools if used appropriately in the right time. So, One is the urgent important matrix. I love this. Love this. Use this in my home all the time. And what makes your heart sing. Two great tools that are just kind of like bonus content for you. So I just want to briefly go over what those will look like. The urgent important matrix it's a template that is a great way to introduce effective time management. I know that we didn't, talk a whole bunch about that in Self-Care Challenge, but time management and how we spend our time can help us in our self-care endeavors. So the urgent important matrix is really about making sure that we spend our time wisely, and it can prevent a crisis from arising. So, and I love it because, in some ways I've taught it to my kids, not necessarily, specifically with using the matrix, but it's in interrupting me if I'm doing something, is it urgent, and is it important? Because if it is urgent and important, then they can interrupt whatever it is that we've got going on, or the same, thing for them. And but if it's important and not urgent, then that's something that we might need to add to the list for later. And, if it's not urgent and it's not important, then those are things that are just really more distractions in our life. And becoming consciously aware and mindful of what are distractions, what are interruptions, what are goals and planning, and what might actually be a crisis. So, or, these distractions, they're also time wasters. So this worksheet, this is just kind of a snippet of it, and this worksheet truly helps us understand and identify our unique time wasters. I love it. It's so empowering. So, alrighty. And then also in the bonus content, we're going to talk about, our joys in life. And I love this. What makes my heart sing is the actual exercise. And it talks about, what are the top 10 joys in your life and what really makes your heart sing. One of the things that I love so much about this exercise is that most of the times what people identify is what makes our heart sing, what makes us really happy, are not things that cost money. They're usually free or they're easy to do. And so the big question that we kind of need to give ourselves is, why are we not doing these things more often? And, why are we so busy chasing material goals? So I just kind of threw these in here as some bonus content because I think that they will truly help you on your self-care endeavor. All right. What is next after this week and we have completed the self-care challenge? I'm going to invite you to my June challenge. I'm super excited to be offering these challenges for the summer that are for a limited time, free of charge. And so in June, we have Embrace the Suck. And it is all about building resilience. If you would like to get in on that June challenge, you can just scan the QR code on your screen or go to https://lifeisn'talways easy.com/courses/embrace-the-suck. So I hope to see you there. And where we just talk about overcoming challenges and building ourselves up and making ourselves stronger. Super excited. Alrighty. And last but not least, if you know how to get a hold of me, here we go. So my contact information is on the screen. You can reach me on my website, phone number, text. On my website, there's a chat widget. So if you want to be able to chat with me directly or social media, just come and find me. And I can't wait to see you on the other side.